In this video, we're going to talk about different variable types and converting from one variable type to another variable type. So before, I said that variables are basically a box with a name and you can put stuff inside the box. And that is true. But there is one kind of twist, which is that there are different kinds of boxes. So there is the kind of box called a string, which we've been using a lot of, and which we can tell they're a string because it has the quotation marks. So that's one kind of variable type. And then another kind of variable type is called an int, int. And those are basically integers. Int is short for integers. So the difference between them is that these strings, when we do math with them, we basically can't do math with them because it's just a character. The computer does not recognize it as like a number. So let's do an example to show you how this kind of works. So let's do a variable called num1, and we'll say first number, and then we'll do the same thing, except we'll call this one num2, and this will be second number. Okay, so and then we're going to print num1 plus num2. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen when we do this? I'm going to put in two numbers. It's going to ask me for two numbers. I'm going to put in two numbers. Let's see. Okay, first number 4, second number 6. So when it prints num1 plus num2, it comes out with 46. Well, 4 plus 6 is supposed to be 10. I'm expecting it to print 10. But what's happening is it's treating it as a string. And when you add strings, you just put them together. I'll show you. First number, let's just put a bunch of letters in here. Rat. Second number, trap. Okay, so you can see that num1, which is the rat, plus num2, which is the trap, it just put it together. Okay, so that's useful when we have strings, and the key thing is to remember that anytime that we have an input, it comes in as a string. So if we want to do math with an input, we actually have to change it into an int. How do we do that? Well, here's how we do it. Num1 equals int num1. So what did I just do here? So I kind of alluded to this in Groundwork 1A when I was talking about variables, but what I've done is I'm saying, okay, so this, we know what happens. We have this variable num1, and it's putting whatever I enter into that variable. But here I have num1 here, and then num1 over here as well. What's happening? Well, it's saying num1 equals, okay, so let's just stop there for a minute. So right now we're going to say whatever I put into num1, I'm putting something into num1, into that variable num1. I'm putting something in, and what am I putting in there? Well, I'm putting in this. So what is this? This is num1. So my previous value of num1, which is a string, and I'm converting it into an int. So to convert something into an int, you just do this int and then bracket, and then inside the brackets you put whatever the thing is that you want to convert into a number. So I'm taking my number, say it's 4. I'm taking the string 4 that I got from my input, and I'm converting string 4 into int 4, and then I'm putting int 4 back into this variable num1. Do the same thing. Do the same thing for num2. Num2 equals num2. And let's try that again. First number 4, second number 6. This time it adds up to 10 as we thought it would. All right, so that is changing from a string into an int. So I'm going to change my num1 and num2. Instead of input, I'm just going to put like a 7 and a 9. And if I run it again, you can see it printed 7 plus 9 is 16. If I didn't have these ints, let's just delete that, it would print, of course, 79. So having the quotation marks is the same thing as having the inputs. That's cool. What if I want to change from an int into a string? Well, I can do that too. Here, if I don't put the quotation marks, it's already int. So if I do this, it's not going to do 76, it's going to do 13. It's already a string. It's already an int. I could change these into a string if I want. Num1 equals str is how you convert things into a string. And sometimes we do need to do that. And you can see there it printed 76. I guess important thing is to realize when we are dealing with variables, when are we dealing with a string, and when are we dealing with an int, and if it's not the right thing, how can I transform it into the right thing? That's basically the intent of this particular lesson. You can do some more practice if you want. In my description for Groundwork 3A, I do a little bit of practice, so you can play around with this. And then you can get down to trying the calculator bot in app 3. All right, so that's all for this lesson, and we'll see you in the next one.